Good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas T-Bird Canarian, and we have a very special live edition for you webinar today. First and foremost, I'm going to tell you right now, we are actually in the office. Y'all, this never actually happens. I'm actually looking at Julia and Nally. This never happens. It's so wild. Yes. Hello, even though I'm blurry. I didn't even recognize my coworkers this morning when they came into the office because I'm so used to actually just seeing them on computers. So it's lovely to have them here today. I'm excited. First and foremost, welcome to Email Academy number 4. We're going to be talking about taking your email strategy beyond the basics. So first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself in just a moment, but I want to ask how my amazing coworkers are doing. Nally, good to see you in office. How are you doing today?
Doing wonderful. It's nice to see everyone's real.
Good to see you. Yes, we are real. Yes, we are. And you probably receive her emails if you are a customer or a viewer of Mailjet's emails. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her, Julia Ritter. Julia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine, thank you.
Oh, awesome. Good to have y'all. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about some housekeeping stuff. Don't forget, save those questions for the Q&A portion towards the end of this lovely, amazing webinar. Talking again, taking your email strategy beyond the basics, number 4. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let our amazing presenters, I'm going to hang out in the chat, let y'all know if we need anything else. We're going to have some amazing content thrown in there. And I'm going to go ahead and let these awesome people go ahead and take this away. So take it away, y'all.
Okay, so today we are talking about Email Academy, or at Email Academy, we're talking about taking your email strategy beyond the basics. Thomas already introduced us, but we are Natalie and Julia. Natalie, do you want to tell the people anything about yourself this morning? Any fun fact?
I'm terrified of kangaroos. That's a fun fact. I'm a senior product manager with Mailjet, so we are definitely excited to have this content with you guys today to take your email marketing beyond the basics. Julia, fun fact about you?
I really put you on the spot with that fun fact. I didn't even prepare one for myself, honestly. If we're going with animals that we are scared of, I'm terrified of gorillas. So yeah, that's how you know. What a way to get to me. I am the email marketing manager, as Thomas said. So we together are your Mailjet BFFs. We're going to walk you through everything you need to know today. We also have some other team members with us. Alex and Marina are in the chat. They are our support team. They're amazing. If you have any questions, they're going to be there to help you out. Of course, Thomas is backstage here helping you. I'm just going to talk to you in the chat as well. And then we have Laura and Casey, who are both going to be sharing some good content, good tips and tricks as we go through everything.
One person not pictured here that is in the room is the other product marketing manager for Mailjet. Stephanie is also joining us today. She's not pictured, but she's a huge contributor to this webinar. So round of applause for her as well.
Claps all around. She's very embarrassed. We're going to keep going with it. Okay, so the first we're going to get started with, so this is actually an email 102. We did email 101 back to the basics back in July. It was our first webinar. So if you can go to the polls tab right now, can you tell us, did you attend email marketing back to the basics in July? We're just trying to gauge, like, you know, if people are returners, if this is your first time with us, and it'll kind of help us go through as we're, you know, riffing and bantering back and forth how much we need to cover and what else to talk about. Okay, so not a lot of returners. Very interesting. Don't forget, so if you go, so just a reminder, the poll tab is up above the chat and you can just like toggle in between it in case you can't find it. Oh, lots of a second time. Love this. Okay, great. All right, so as a recap, previously on Email Academy, back to the basics, they're laughing at me because I like to say this in my head as previously on Boy Meets World. And showing my age of, so if you get that, thank you so much, you're my people. Okay, so if you were with us in July, we talked about how to define your goal of your campaign, how to build your audience through contact forms and lists, and subscription forms, sorry. let me specify that. How to create your first campaign, what kind of elements you need, how to choose the content that your audience will appreciate so that they engage more with it. And we did a lot. So shameless plug, if you have not watched the first episode, which is like the email marketing back to the basics, we can send that in the chat so you have that link. Thanks, Thomas is on it. And just a good little refresher. Natalie, anything to add?
I will say all of our webinars previously are recorded and available. So if you want to check them out, they're on our YouTube as well as other locations. We'll get those in the chat. Definitely check them out. And so happy to have so many beginners here and to dive into how to make your email campaigns better with data. So let's kick it off.
Sorry. We're trying to get that mute down, you know? Okay, so today on Email Academy, we're going to be talking about your future email campaigns. How can you use the current data that you have from past campaigns to strategize for future optimization and future strategy? Okay, so we're going to be looking at past campaign analytics, segmentation, A/B test results, and then tools to enhance your productivity, which includes AI. So little mentions of AI in there. Natalie's smirking because she is very pro AI, and I like to keep it on a leash. So as we go through, we will go into each kind of definition and a little demo of like what to expect from each. So please feel free to put your questions in the Q&A and we will save them for the end. But yeah, as we go through it, if you have any questions, let us know. Second poll. Do you currently rely on any data to drive your decisions when crafting a campaign? And if so, what do you rely on? Again, open that polls tab. And just so your options are open rates and click rates, so like engagement, A/B test results, website traffic, or no, you don't, NA, which is fine. It's fine. That's why we're here. Okay.
Okay, it looks like we have a lot of people that really look at open rates and click rates, which is great because it's absolutely valid when it's looking at how to level up our strategy. It's definitely something that we look at and we help others kind of analyze. We're going to go through a lot of those details today with all the different ways to look into our data and take a peek at what it actually looks like with campaigns. So this is wonderful to see. Again, it's great if you don't have anything that you're using. That's a great place to start because you can always start up from there. And data is sometimes hard to gather. So we'll get you started on how to do that today.
The first thing we're going to go over is campaign analytics. So when we talk about this, I'm basically referring to your basics that you get from your ESP or after your email goes out. Delivery, open, click, unsubscribe, and bounce. And then like also their associated rates. I just really want to make an emphasis here on unique. Make sure you are reporting on unique values. What this means is that if I open an email and I open it and go back like 5 times because I want to see what you wrote in it, don't count me as 5 opens, count me as 1 open. And you want to do that for your clicks and clicks, opens, unsubscribes to genuinely be unique. But sometimes there are some reporting, I don't want to say just inconsistencies. So you have to make sure like what your ESP is reporting on. It changes kind of. So just keep that in mind. Okay.
We're going to get this mute down really clear. Yeah, I would say my biggest thing is always be skeptical of your data at first. Make sure it is what you want to grasp there, because sometimes we think we have all the information in front of us and it's not telling us the right story. And you're right, we have a comment in there, open rates are still hard to track, and they can be because people can open it multiple times. It's great engagement, but we always want to click that unique view.
100%. Okay, so looking at your campaign analytics, you can evaluate your past performance, right? And if you're you can basically see how your campaign went. If you had a lot of clicks, obviously they like that content. Or if you had a lot of unsubscribes, maybe it wasn't the right audience. So make sure, and of course we're going to go over segmentation. So everything kind of fits together, right? Everything's working towards your engagement. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at everything. I also put in here some equations of how to calculate all of that. The delivered count, it's divided by that slash. I just couldn't think of a cute way to put it. But delivered by divide over sent count, it gets your delivery rate, and then multiplied by 100, of course, for percentage. And then this is a common misconception: click count. If you're looking for just your click rate, put it over delivered, because you're looking at how many clicked versus, actually how many got to the inbox versus click to open. It's going to get you that inflated metric, which is fine. But because of Apple and all of these different things, I personally don't rely on open rates too much anymore. So your click to open rate is going to be very, very high. So go based on delivered if you want an actual. Okay, cool. Oh, and an unsubscribe rate. This is a huge marker. Don't ignore this. If people are unsubscribing, something's not right. That's either not audience, the right content. Just keep that in mind. And I know we might get questions about like industry benchmarks and whatnot, or like, how do you know you're doing well? I always say to go off of like compete with yourself. Go from, sorry, compete with yourself. Look at your past campaigns and what their engagement was. If you're doing better than your past campaigns and like with the same audience and different messaging, then clearly you're doing something right. If you're doing worse, then something needs to change. So just you're your own competition.
We are our own competition. That's the best benchmark to mark against, because the industry standards won't always grasp your industry that you're in, your audience, and you want to make sure you're tailoring to that. So don't compete against industry standards. Compete against yourself. I love that. Okay, we're going to hop in and look at what this looks like when we're actually
Looks like we have some technical issues. Sorry, y'all. 1 second.
All right, we did not anticipate that my audio was not going to come through with that demo. So I'm going to go ahead and load up to show you my actual desktop. So let me pull that demo up so that we can take a look together. My apologies, this in-office stuff, right? You have to really, really get used to it again. It's been so long. This would be a really great time for me to be more organized when it comes to my desktop. Okay, let me share my screen. So we're going to stop sharing the demo, and we are going to start sharing my screen. Here we go. Everyone can see this now?
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm going to hit play. So what we're looking at here is actual campaign page within Mailjet. I wanted to really get us kicked off at looking at this is fun. Sorry, my connection here is not great, so the load time's there. But as you can see, we're looking at our statistics. This is a very vital page when we're looking at our data, because it can really let us dive into past performance. So we can really look at how our past ones perform in comparison to our current ones. There's a lot of options and a lot of email marketing platforms to really dive into the data, to go back historically and to compare it against what we're doing. So make sure you utilize that. Sometimes it's good to look at year over year. Sometimes we're wanting to look at seasonality. So you can really flex with that and see how your deliverability, your opens, your clicks, again, that open rate, because of all the things out there could be different, but your click to open rate is good. You can dig into your campaigns and the people you're sending it to, your open analytics, your click analytics. So this is all wonderful information for us to really hop into when it comes to checking out how we're making our campaigns better in the future. Julia, when you are looking at this stuff and you're realizing your campaigns, what is the first thing that you check out?
To improve for next time, I definitely look at click rates, and then I compare it to the audience. Like, okay, guys, I look at open rates too. If it's at a 50% open rate for, 10,000 people, I'm just giving it like a round number, but the click rate is only like 0.3%, something isn't right there. Like either, it wasn't obvious enough, or there's, it wasn't the right content. So then I'm looking at it for the next time. Also, unsubscribes.
Sorry, was looking for the button. We're looking at comparing campaigns right here. This is another great tool that you can compare one-to-one. As you can see, I have an A/B test in here, so you can really take a look at the difference between campaigns and the performance rates you have. And this can be really great with A/B testing, as well as just general campaigns that you're not A/B testing, because you're not always testing everything. But definitely taking a look at how your past ones performed to your current ones, and how you can really change and analyze your audience and your content to really make sure that you're hitting. So if you see a really high click rate on one content, maybe we look at that content and see how it really connects with your audience, see where they're clicking and what's interested. You always compare that to low click rates or low click to open rates, so you can understand what about it. Was it the subject line? Was it the content that didn't connect? It can really tell you a lot about customer behavior. In product, that's something that we look at all the time. We want to understand what our customers are doing. And with marketing and opening emails and interacting with them, it's just as valuable. Okay, do we want to hop back to the content now?
Yes. Okay, perfect. So I love that feature. If you haven't tried it out yet, it's great. Okay, so segmentation we are going with next. So segmentation is a list of people that will meet your criteria for your campaign. There's a few different ways. So you could, when you're talking about your campaign, right? We talked about last time how you set your goal. You also kind of want to figure out the audience that is going to be most fit or to be the best fit for that goal, or the other way around. Like, okay, I have this segment of people. What would best fit their needs, and how do we achieve it from there? So you're kind of working externally from your ESP and internally from your ESP to figure out the best way to segment that audience. If you have your data all in an external data system or your CRM or something, and you need to put that then into your ESP, that's one way to do it. Or sometimes once you have all of your contact properties and all of your other fields updated in your ESP, you can use the segmentation from the product or the platform to identify okay, only send to people who live in Ohio or, on the Central Times, I don't know. And then you can go from there. So like I said, should be decided before your campaign actually goes out, so you have a better idea of how the engagement's going to go. And of course, you can use segmentation to narrow down your audience for anything, their behavior, if they visited a certain web page, their contact properties, if they bought a certain product. It just, the world is your oyster, and there's so much opportunity. I love segmentation. I do it as granular as I can so that the audience is as small as I can, and then, your engagement's really good. And then Natalie, going to hand it over to you for a demo.
Okay, great. We're going to stop sharing that again. We're going to bounce back and forth now that we know the video doesn't do audio. Luckily, I had the opportunity to load our second demo real quick, and we're going to dive into what segmentation looks like. Because again, it is a wonderful tool that we can, I gotta hit play. It's a wonderful tool we can use to really define our audience. So I'm walking through our segmentation on Mailjet right now, but this is where we really put that data to use to customize our audience so that we can really connect with them. You can do it on so many different options. Again, we have that not open to the last, the click rates, kind of the engagement, as well as contact properties. So if you're looking for a specific demographic or subset of your audience, you can filter on with ands or ors. So it's definitely important to consider that. So, right now we're looking at not opened in the last month, or not, what do I pick? I don't remember what I picked the second one. Oh gosh. So you can really go through and define that so you can get a super subset. So, or the language is this, is what I landed on there. So it really allows you to dive into how you define your audience. This is so important so that you can really ensure your content is resonating with them, which will enhance that engagement. Again, segmentation, once you've really got that data down, is your best friend to really hone in your audience and give them content that matters. Is there a specific kind of approach you use to segmentation, or is it really just based on that data and that feedback that you utilize when you email?
Yeah, I'm just going off of my goal and then knowing my audience and what data I have available. And sometimes you can just use it, and it's going to be a test, right? We're talking about A/B testing next. It could just be a test until you figure out exactly what kind of data you have from their interest and what behavioral things or like contact properties you have, honestly.
Sorry, I did not realize I had not muted that time. Okay, so someone asked for this to be a little bit slower. I apologize about not muting there. That was my bad. We will definitely have these videos available for you guys so you can take a deeper look into them. We're going to go ahead and switch back to the deck. But yeah, segmentation is such a great tool.
Perfect. So next is A/B testing. Let me scroll down here. So A/B testing, aka split testing or multivariant testing. So this allows you to test multiple variables of your campaign to your audience. It could be your subject lines, most common, I think. Content placement, design, sender info. But we recommend sending one variable or testing one variable at a time. So if you're testing subject lines, only test subject lines, not subject line and sender name, because you're not going to know what that engagement was in result of. Did they like it because it came from your first name, or did they like it rather than like your company name, or did they like it because your subject line was personalized versus not? So just keep that in mind. And so you have a few different options for split testing for email. You could do it by like a certain percentage. So sometimes you can do like, okay, send this version to 10% of people and then another version to 10% of people. And then after 3 hours of the test, send the winning version, whichever one got most clicks or the least unsubscribes. You can choose on that. Or you can do, and I do this most often, a split 50-50 test and just see like what happens. Just overall, it's like an unlimited amount of time. It is a little bit risky because you're not having a winning one, but I look at it later to see which one actually won. It's kind of interesting. I do this a lot when I'm testing plain text versus designed emails to see what people are going to click on more. And it is kind of surprising. So if you haven't done it, try it. I love a test. And whenever someone asks me to do something, I'm like, sure, let's test it. We can do that. Natalie, any thoughts?
I really like to bring it back to the scientific method. We all learned it in elementary school, right? Maintain your your consistency and then test one variable. I think that is a great approach to testing across brands, whether it's in your product or in your emails. Really ensuring that you have that one variable that you're testing so you know what your results are giving you is the most important part about A/B testing. We have a quick look at A/B testing. We're going to get this mute down, I swear. We have a quick look at A/B testing real quick here. So let's hop out of the deck so we can really dive into what it looks like when we A/B test. Okay, so we're going to do a quick look at what it looks like in the product once again. I have set up a campaign. Really, right now, what I'm going to test is the formal versus informal language. It is the same messaging, it is the same subject lines, it's just one's formal and one's informal. And again, it's good to create that consistency so we can see how it resonates with your audience. Testing that one thing is super important. Once you send that test out, you can start to see the results based on who and where the clicks are coming from. Within Mailjet, I have utilized it so that it tests out to a subgroup and then it sends out to the rest with a successful campaign. And you can really dive into the specifics of your campaign when you're looking at that A/B testing. Again, this was testing formal versus informal to see what audience clicked in which direction, to see what tone of voice. The tone of voice for your brand is so important to understand how you can connect with your audience. So again, when you're sending it out, you have all these statistics to really understand how the performance is playing with you and working well with your campaign. Yeah, let's test that.
Okay.
you can't hear me, I will talk louder. Tell us in the chat. We'll go back to try to switch back and forth. But yes, let me. I'm sorry. Okay. I was just trying to ask you a question.
We can hear you, so it works great. Okay, we should have gone with this from the beginning.
Sorry, guys.
If there's anything we've learned from remote work, is that mute buttons are our friend. Okay. So A/B testing, what's your first approach when you're setting it up?
At first, what's your bandwidth? I'm gonna be honest, like sometimes I don't have time to plan a full A/B test of like different types of content, right? Like you can get very granular and test like subject line matches the last piece of content in your email, or you could do like so that you're testing content placement, but more often than not, I'm testing subject line, like it's just to see if it changes anything for y'all.
Okay, use this.
Okay, this is just one mic. Pulled out headphones so that we all can hear, and that way it's a better experience for all of us. So give us a thumbs up in the chat if it's sounding better. Julia, give it a try.
I'm laughing. This is so funny.
Not better.
Can you hear me okay?
Terrible. Oh gosh, this is not. Oh my gosh.
All right, back to.
Okay.
Better for Julia, but not for me.
Okay. Can we all hear me? We're gonna move on. Okay. Natalie, I'm taking back over. Share, please. Next, we're gonna go into everyone's favorite. Oh, you have to stop sharing for me to share. I'm so sorry. Guys. Okay, we're gonna go into AI. Everyone's favorite topic, Julia's least favorite. I'm gonna say it. Stephanie's laughing at me over here because she knows it. So for all the people that are not so pro AI, which is fine if you're like me, this is not limited to ChatGPT. I have a little problem with ChatGPT. You do also have automation, personalization, behavioral, optimization, like anything that's optimizing your campaign from that, like you don't have to do it yourself. That's technically AI. Like it's AI email marketing refers to the marrying of artificial intelligence technology and our communication strategies to like optimize the various aspects of email marketing. So if you're like think of it as like a little assistant for yourself, if you're using personalization in an email, you're using the contact fields. So it's like, so your message is a bit more personal, right? That's automating that for you. If you're using behavioral triggers and automations, like visited this web page, that's AI. If you're using dynamic content based on what page they visited and you're like, oh, you'll like this blog then, that's AI. So there's a bunch of different facets to this. So don't count it out, but use it in your favor. Don't feel like you have to be pigeonholed into one thing or it's going to take your job or something. Like, no, there are ways to use it to your advantage. And so that makes your life easier because we all need our lives to be a little bit easier. So yeah, it's to be used as a time and resource efficiency, especially, and you're going to see this a lot coming up with copy generation, I think. People use ChatGPT to like input, like, okay, here's an idea, give me an outline or something. Use it as a bouncing off point, absolutely. Or, Natalie's going to show us a demo here in a second of how it can be used in an email too. But of course, like, don't forget to make it your own and your own style because it's uniquely you. And with that, we're going to see a demo of it.
Okay, so I am going to show you a demo of AI. Again, as Julia mentioned, I love AI. I'm a big fan of utilizing it to optimize, not replace. It is a tool for us to utilize, and we have so much going on that we need assistance sometimes. It's like your own personal little assistant.
So I think it's a great tool and I utilize it all the time in my work. Again, as a jumping off start, like you cannot replace yourself with AI because AI is not perfect all of the time. And you really have to ensure you're being careful. Don't plop in content from AI and don't review it. That's a terrible idea. But within Mailjet, we do have an AI content generator so that you can really, don't have to switch between tools and it's right there in your email to play around with different copy. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm starting to write something, a blank page is my worst enemy. Yeah. So that is where it really comes in so handy for me to get that first draft and really allow us to kick off on creating that copy. So we have this in-app, we can do it per language, we can do it formal, informal, and you can give it that prompt as well as the length. And from there, it'll generate our results and you can take a look at that. You can refine or regenerate to pop it in there. And this really allows you to do it in the email. And a lot of tools like this are popping up. And again, utilize them for productivity. Don't replace yourself with them because AI is only as good as us collectively and we still need to review it. So definitely make sure you're reviewing it. But I am an early adopter of AI. I'm a big fan of technology. So it is something I've been on the bandwagon from the very beginning. But yes, it is something especially when you're translating into different languages, if you don't natively speak it, please verify. You want to make sure that what you're putting in there is going to connect to your audience and it's not just, it's not making inaccuracies because inaccuracies in language really will not do well with content personalization. So keep that in mind. That being said, it's a wonderful tool to increase productivity and really help us out. Go ahead.
I agree. Sorry, I took a sip of coffee as I was going to talk. I agree. I think it's, if it can be used to make anything simpler for you so you can get a campaign out quicker, use it. Because we all know that there's someone in your office who's going to be like, I need this email sent out today. You're like, I don't have time. It's Natalie. You're going to be your best friend, to be honest with you. Just use it as a bouncing off point. Again, still make it your own. Because as we've seen, I think people are starting to, you still want that human aspect behind your emails, behind your marketing, so that your audience knows that you're actually behind there with the replies, with you have their best interests for them, right? So they just want to know that still. Okay, so if you're still with us, that is the majority of our talk today. So we're going to go into Q&A, but I just want to poll one more time. What do you want to see from us in 2024? What can we help you with in 2024? We're here to serve you. We have your best interests. AI is not writing these webinars, or they would be much more eloquent. No, I'm just kidding. They would be just as crazy. Go to the polls tab. We have a few options for you. Did I mess that up? No. Okay. What content do you want to see from us in 2024? Design tips, copywriting, your domain authentication and why it's important. Add it in the chat. If there's something else we're not thinking of, or that we couldn't put in our multiple choice here, go put it in the chat, please, because we love your feedback so much. I wanted to point out the domain authentication because of the Gmail and Yahoo. Natalie, go ahead, you can explain this better.
Yeah, we saw some things in the chat about deliverability, and I will say that is probably going to be our first discussion of the year because we have a lot of changes coming to the DCAM world and validating domains and bulk sending. So we are going to be heavy on deliverability because we want to avoid those spam filters. We want to avoid those promotion folders. And your first step to that is ensuring you're sending from a validated domain. If you're not familiar with the changes that are coming in the industry, there's self-service documentation on Mailjet, and there's a lot going on. You're going to be receiving from Mailjet, Mailgun, all of our email strength, putting behind educating our customers on how to ensure you're landing on the inbox with these new changes coming for the industry. Again, it's been best practice for a while, but it's a great time to level up. It's great time to really figure out what we can do to scale up our deliverability, because the first step is getting into that inbox. So we will be delivering that come January for you.
I just want to point out, so someone asked in the chat, Dylan, not to call you out, but the importance of using an email inbox warm-up service. just think of it that way. Like your delivery, you want to get to the inbox, and if you're going in cold, like with your, it's going to go to spam. It's going to go to your junk. I got an email this week from another email service that was truly to my junk. Like my company blocked it, not even to like it went to spam, not even my junk folder. So you want to use a warm-up service to kind of get your domain warmed up so that you're delivering right to the inbox, and so that your customers can actually engage with your content and not miss important updates, or else you're going to be, it's not going to be effective in any way for you or them. Okay, wonderful. Thank you all so much for chiming in. And now we're going to go to Q&A.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do Q&A, and that's our favorite time. So are we gonna bring back Thomas?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna bring back Thomas, because Q&A is his favorite time. So everyone be prepared.
Q&A. I was talking loud enough because I was trying to go through Natalie's mic, but it's all right. All right, it's the fun time of the day. Q&A. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some of these questions, y'all. All right, first and foremost, let's give a quick shout out to Alex and Marina for knocking out some amazing questions for us. You guys are amazing and wonderful, and also super, super helpful. So, cool. And we are going to go over some of the ones that actually they did answer. So, First and foremost, let's take a look here. Also, going to tell you right now, upvote the ones that you want to see more answered. Let's go ahead and I'll give you a few seconds to do that because we've got a lot in here. Go ahead, upvote the ones you want to see answered that are more pertinent and that you feel like are more important. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and look at this question from Adair. Adair want to know, we've tried so many variations of A/B testing, and regardless of the test or audience size, we almost always get a nearly 50-50 result. Any tips? Ladies, what do y'all think?
Don't you hate when that happens? I genuinely do. This happens to me sometimes too. Maybe your tests aren't different enough. Like if you're testing subject lines, for example, maybe they're both the same kind of tone and not drastic enough of a split test. So like a question, like if you're saying a question like, are you ready for your holiday campaigns? And then also get ready for your holiday campaigns. That's not really that different, that you might see the same kind of results. Whereas it's like, oh gosh, I'm not good on the spot. But like if you're thinking of, okay, are you getting ready for your holiday campaigns versus increased click rates this holiday season? That might be a little bit different enough to see some results. So yeah, maybe it's just not different enough, or maybe you take another look at your segment and who you're testing to, and if they're actually engaged, or if they're, old email addresses that are just like dragging down your metrics.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Dave, for that one. All right, moving on here, shall we? Okay, so this one comes in from Amina. Amina wanted to know, we're experiencing good engagement with high click and open rates in our email campaigns, but the conversion rates remain low. Could you provide guidance on how to better segment our audience to enhance these conversion rates, or any other marketing strategies, please?
Okay, so you're experiencing good engagement with high click rate and open rates, but the conversion rate is low. I guess my question would be, what's your what is your conversion? What is your goal for that? And is that conversion, like whatever that goal is, does it align better with your segment? So if you're looking at, okay, let's say you're working with blog subscribers and you want to get them to sign up. Are they just there for your content maybe? And, or are they not? Like maybe you should look at people who are consistently engaged with each email you're sending them to then modify that segment, and then like it might help your conversion rate. Segment or any other marketing strategy for your conversions. It's kind of, I feel like, dependent on use case. If you'd like to email me, I would not mind at all. It's julia.ritter@cinch.com. So, we can go over this more in detail. I think it just depends on case by case. I'm sorry. Natalie, any?
Yeah, I think it's hard. It is per your product, per what you're trying to do. Like, what goal are you doing, right? When you go out there and you test, you always want to start with that hypothesis. What do you want to see from the result? And can you prove it true or not true? Based on your brand, that's going to be a lot of difference, right? We like to see a lot of engagement in ours, but that conversion rate might be where we need it to be, even though it's on the lower end because of how big our audience is, or vice versa, right? So it is going to be based on your brand. But the best thing about that is you really have the ability to test down. You know who is converting. Look at their customer behavior. That's something I focus a lot on in product. What are those behaviors? What is that audience that is converting? What is different about them versus everyone else that isn't converting? And try to hone in on that data piece to really refine future audiences, or test against the people who aren't engaging specifically, right? Create that segment of people who aren't engaging and test against them. They're a great group because you know who's consistently engaged in your emails, and the rest of them, you want to get them in there. So test with those people.
Yep.
Yeah, always be testing. Yeah. Love it. All right, moving on here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's an elephant in the room we got to talk about. Y'all, you know what we're going to talk about, Natalie, because I see it. It's the most upvoted question right now. We're going to have to talk about it, but we're only going to go over it kind of briefly because we are going to have a webinar on this topic. We actually have an episode on our podcast, Emails Not Dead, that's about to come out, that has Marcel Becker of Yahoo, who helped work on this initiative. So, Natalie, can we briefly talk about the Google and Yahoo updates that are about to come out? In your own words, do you want to, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a big one, and we're all really worried as we go into the new year. I would say, first and foremost, if you have not validated your domain name using DKIM, do so right now. We have help documentation on Mailjet. It's available online. If you don't know what those acronyms mean, don't be scared. It sounds way more complex than it is, but you need to validate your domain name. You need to be sending from a custom domain. That is by far the most important takeaway I want you to know. They're going to be changing. Sorry, I will slow down. I get excited. I talk fast when I get excited. Validate your domain name. That is, again, number one, best practice, the thing you need to do. And that will really help. It's been industry best standards for a very long time, but it's some place that you need to do right now. You need to get in there and validate from your ESP to your domain provider. There's walkthrough through ESPs on how to do it. Don't be scared. Ask for help if you need it. It is so important. From there, we're going to be looking at how to set return paths, how to really increase engagement. Where can you do that? So if you're in Mailjet, there's going to be domain validation. If you're in any other ESP, and no matter your ESP, please do this. There's going to be something called domain validation or sender validation. Always do it on the domain level. That's the biggest key. You're going to want to connect it to your domain DNS settings, which is going to be with your registrar or your web hoster. This all sounds a lot more complex than it is. I spent a lot of years in domain names. Please don't be scared and ask questions. Mailjet's here to help. I will throw my email in there as well as Julia's. So if you want to reach out to us, we are here to help you through it. Right now, yes, ESP is email service provider. It's always those acronyms in the tech space that get us. And DNS, domain name servers. So that's the biggest thing. If you're sending over 5,000 emails, if you constantly bulk send, validate. Even if you're not, validate your domain name. We have support documentation that they've already locked out that'll go into the other changes. But the biggest and largest impact will be that validation of your domain name to ensure your DKIM is set up, to ensure that you are ready to send. I will get off my high horse. I'm very passionate about this. Validate that domain name.
And we're talking about this because it's super important. It's coming up. It's coming up in February, and you're not going to stop hearing about this. We're all going to be talking about it up until and after the update. So it's coming down the line. So please, just pay attention to our blogs, our Twitter, all that fun stuff, because it's coming out. We're releasing some documentation about it, and also some good stuff you can listen to as well and watch, and kind of just stay in the know of what's going on with that. So, yep. All right, moving on, shall we? Now that we talked about the elephant in the room. So, let's see here. Taking a look at some of these Q&A questions. Oh, what about email dwell time metrics? Okay, let's see here. Aaron want to know, curious if email dwell time metric is important for KPIs. Julia, what do you think?
That's a good question. I'm assuming email dwell time would be like how long they spent on the email. I think it's important for you as an email marketer. I don't know if it's going to yield more to like conversions and ROI and all of that more than anything else. But
Dwell time.
oh, what's dwell time? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking at the chat. I'm assuming Aaron here means dwell time, meaning how long they've spent on the email. Like if they really went to look like through the entire email, if they were reading through everything, like how long they dwelled on the email. To me, I gauge that as did they click on the last piece of content I put in our email? And if there's a lot of clicks on that, clearly, you know, then they might have. And, you know, it was, I'm sorry, can you just try to find the chat? I'm so bad at this. If they are, it's on click on the last piece of content in your email, then clearly they took the time to go all the way down to the bottom, and their dwell time was probably a little bit longer than say the people who just clicked on the top and left. So I think it's important for you as an email marketer when you're looking at strategy and creating next campaigns, but I don't really have insight on how it turns it or can go into like your return on investment is ROI, return on investment. Which means like how much return you're getting from your email campaigns, how much revenue you're bringing in from your emails. Is where you can see the dwell time. Some analytics like provide you like how long people stayed on the email or on the page, but not all of them. Or yeah, but like I would go, like I said, from like the last thing they clicked, like how many people are clicking on that last feature or last link in your email. I think that's a better marker, maybe, or just a little bit more reliable.
Perfect. Sounds good. Okay, y'all. We've got time for just a few more. So I want to take a look at this one really quick. Here's another one for Julia.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Julia. Annie wanted to know, and also Marina was able to knock this one out for us too, but she wanted to know, I thought open rates are not accurate because of the 2022 iOS update with pixels that mark everything as open. Did you want to go over this really quick?
No, I don't want to go over really quick. This is the worst. The worst. I'm not going to hold back. I'm just mad about it. And now like we have to deal with this Gmail and Yahoo stuff coming up too. We've got to find ways around it, you know. Open rates probably are not the most accurate. You could, if you have the ability, segment out if they're using like an Apple product, you know, and then segment those people separately, or segment like your stats afterward and see who of your audience clicked something or opened something on it, Apple, and like, you know, take that with a grain of salt and not add it to your metrics. I think that's one way to do it. But yeah, so for background, Apple released this update. If you wanted to, you could switch it on as an Apple user, that it would show any email that you get as an open automatically. So then it's showing, you know, 75% open rate for 10,000 people. And it's like, that's ridiculous. I'm not that good at what I do, but you know, we all are. So then when you're looking at other metrics, it's inflated. It doesn't make sense. So it's kind of hard to go off of. Like I said, I would go off of clicks. I would go off of unsubscribes. I would go off of your conversion. Like if they're clicking out to the website, can you then track from there what they're doing once they're on your website? And like if they signed up for something, if they bought something, track their behavior in like a nice way, you know, not in like a privacy illegal policy, consensually, and then go from there. I think it just, yeah, open rates. Do I still use them? Sure. Do I still use them as like the end all be all? No. Natalie, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, my big thing is you can always look at your open rates, and if they clicked immediately, that's not them. Discount that data. Like that's a great way to really, and you see a lot of bot clicks out there, and all of it's based on like the bot click detection is really based on timing. So you can do that kind of across the board. You can understand realistically someone is not usually clicking the moment it hits the inbox. I mean, sometimes maybe if it's a transactional email, right? Because we're waiting for those, but email marketing, not so much. We're getting to it when we open our inboxes. It should be there waiting for us to delight us. So if they're clicking immediately, discount that. Just take that out of your rates and don't consider it as accurate. If it's a day later, 2 days later, that is a lot more accurate. Hours later, 10, 15 minutes later, that's so much more accurate to look at.
I also want to, yeah, when you're looking at your email stats, give your email like at least 48 hours to really get in. And because you'll still see stats for up to 48 hours. People, come back to their emails. They go, I'm sorry, I'm still looking at the chat. They will go back and click something and or they'll look at it initially, come back. I do that all the time. So give it up to 48 hours when people catch up in their inbox from the weekend, from their time off, from, their crazy meetings, and you'll still see things grow.
And that's why it's the worst. It's the worst. Love that show. All right, I'm gonna let Natalie pick an AI question to wrap us up for the day. Natalie, let's see here. Any of these looking up your alley for AI? Let's see. Julie and I feel very strongly about AI, but
Yeah.
Natalie feels different.
So I just asked Natalie 2 questions. If she's thought more about, or thought in a product sense about templates and using AI for templates and reporting, and can she speak to that?
Yeah, so definitely when it comes to AI, again, be careful, but it is a tool for productivity. It's not going to replace us, and we want to utilize it responsibly. So when we're looking at templates, it's definitely every email service provider and marketing email provider out there right now is looking at how we can utilize AI in our product. And in our product, it's going to be showing up all over. I'm looking at it from automations. We're looking at it from content creation. How can we utilize it to enhance our experience? Again, this is a productivity builder. So things like analyzing and providing good detail or providing templates, things that one of the biggest pull questions people are saying they want to design. This is a great place to lean into because it's something that we can utilize vocal, like what we want in plain language, and turn it into an assistant to help us create that design and really resonate. Again, always review it, treat it like a really smart, college freshman. They do the research for you, but you always want to validate it, right? This is not something we trust out of the box. This is something we validate and ensure it represents our brand. But it is a very powerful tool for productivity. And I'm definitely a power user. I am someone who loves AI and I've been waiting for this revolution. But again, you want to make sure that you're validating it. I know I use ChatGPT. They have analytics that you can plug in, like with Sheets right now. I will say always remove customer data when you're utilizing AI in any regards. If it's not, GPT or it's not GDPR compliant right now on a ChatGPT. So really ensure that you're protecting your customers and using only data points. Make sure you're only using percentages if you're utilizing external tools right now, and just watch out because email service providers, we're going to be putting AI. Everyone's going to be putting AI everywhere. It's going to be everywhere.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Boop, 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 boop. Talking about that AI. Yeah, it's my robot voices. All right, y'all. So that's pretty much all the time we've got today. We got to wrap it up here in just a moment because, yeah, we are in office and we have other meetings we got to go to, and I got to use the restroom. And after this, I have to talk about, I have a meeting to talk about Gmail and Yahoo. So guess what? It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. So please, 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 and where's James Brown? Please keep an eye out on our socials, our emails, all that fun stuff, because it's coming down the line. We're going to be talking about it very soon. Yes, that webinar is going to be happening in January, but we're working on right now, ironing that date out, so it's coming. So just keep an eye out, keep your ears to the ground, keep your ears to the email, and make sure you listen to us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for stopping by, hanging out with us, and also, most importantly, Natalie and Julia for taking time out of their busy days, and most importantly, for flying down here to Central Texas to be here with us and to join us in the webinar. Also, give a big shout out to Marina and Alex and Casey and Laura for helping us out, even Stephanie hanging out with us here today. So let's go ahead and let them walk out here and have a good day. Natalie, where do you want people to follow along with you to, whatever you got going on in the email and stuff like that? Where can people reach out to you?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn pretty easily. Natalie Lynch, I threw it in the chat if you want to scroll up. I'm also on Twitter, Java and Jammies on Instagram and Twitter. I don't use it as much, but I love PJs and coffee. So Java and Jammies.
Java, Jammies, and plants. That's her deal, yo. That's her deal. And last but not least, Julia, where can people vibe with whatever you got going on and listen to what you got?
Well, I'm never on Twitter, so true to my occupation, you can email me, reply to any single one of our emails, and I'm on the other side. Or you can reach me personally at julia.ritter@cinch.com, and I will put that in the chat again. Thank you all so much. Have a great December. December holidays are upon us.
Happy holidays, everyone. Hopefully you're taking the time off.
Yes. Of course we will. Love it, y'all. Well, we will see you in the new year. We appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us. And make sure you oh, wait, Thomas, where are we following with you? Oh, you can follow me at LinkedIn, Thomas T-Bird Canarian. You can also find me on Twitter, T-Bird from TX. I'll also talk about email as well. And also check out our podcast as well, coming up pretty here soon. Like I said, this is where you can follow along and listen to that upcoming episode that's about to come out to talk about Yahoo and Gmail. So, all right, everyone, we will see you in the new year, and we'll see you around town. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.